Hi, I'm sarahbyoga and welcome to this yoga class. This is a class for exercise recovery. You know those days when you've done a little bit more exercise than usual, or perhaps you haven't done any exercise for a while, walking, running, swimming, a HIIT class, whatever it may be. And the next day, or even the day after, you wake up and you spend the whole day feeling sort of glued up and your muscles are aching. You feel like lactic acid is screaming at you throughout your body. This yoga class today is going to help you unfurl from all of that. And we're going to work very steadily and very slowly without ambition. The mission being to feel better and to kind of dissipate all that rusting up that you might be feeling. You're going to need a block and a blanket or a towel. They're going to help support you as we go through stages into poses to deeply open up and make you feel really good. If you're not already a patron and aren't supporting this channel and you're enjoying it, please look at the details below. The details are all there. I give you great benefits back for very small monthly contributions, and all the other details are there about everything else that I do. And I would love to hear how this class goes. So please do leave any comments, suggestions and feedback that you might have in the comments box below. Let's begin. Please come to hands and knees. Place yourself kindly, take your time, bring your hands to the floor, and have your knees behind your wrists and your feet pointing behind you, behind your knees. Now straighten your arms and squeeze your arms gently and round your back. So you're stretching the muscles that run all down the sides of your spine as you press your toenails into the floor to help you create a lovely arch. Now remember, you are not being ambitious here. We're not trying to improve or increase range of motion. We're just recovering from exercise and making space throughout your body. Now lift your chin, lift your sitting bones. You might even feel your abdominal muscles stretching here. Pick up your feet and move your feet so that your big toes touch side by side, and then lower your seat. Now you might want to grab your block here so that when you come into child's pose, your head can rest on your block. Because if you're feeling tight, particularly in your chest, your head may not touch the mat. If it does, if you feel like it will, then take the block away. Now stay here in child's pose and breathe into your lower back. Take 3 or 4 more smooth, even breaths here, remembering that your breath is vital to your body being able to move. You're bringing in the life force, not just the oxygen and all the other gases that are needed, but the prana that's needed to stock up all the energy levels in your body. Now come back to hands and knees, and if you're using the block, put it on the side of the mat. Walk your hands a little further forward and then slowly come into Anahatasana, puppy dog pose. And again, if you need the block for your forehead, get that. Try and straighten your arms here if you can and press your tailbone down towards the floor so your lower back gets a little more lengthening. Now raise your head, push down through the bases of your index fingers. Walk your hands back, so you're coming back to hands and knees, and then again round your back. Now again, lift up your chin, lift up your sitting bones, so you're doing a back bend. Then come into a normal neutral spine. So look down at the floor, pick up your left hand and slide it underneath your right hand so that you come into twisted child's pose. You might want to walk your right hand a little further forward. Bring the left side of your head to the floor. A gentle, easy twist. Remember, you're not trying to do the deepest twist ever. You just want to open up the muscles of your back here. You might even feel they're tugging here. After a lot of exercise, we're feeling particularly sensitive and tender and able to feel what's going on. Keep your abdominal muscles slightly engaged, and then come to the other side. Push your right hand down, left hand to the floor, right hand palm up. Stretch it as far as your body will let you.
Turn your belly and chest to the left side of the room. Slightly press your knees towards each other. Then come back up to hands and knees. Place your wrists underneath your shoulders. Then walk your hands back a little bit more towards your knees and turn your hands out to the sides of the mat so that your fingertips are pointing towards your knees. Now, keep weight in your legs here, but if you feel like you could transfer a bit more weight into your hands, then do, and maybe lean back a little bit so that you stretch your forearms gently. Gently does it, and then round your back a little bit more, so you're replicating that cat pose that we've been doing. Then turn the first hand that you turned forwards again, and then the second hand, and come into a bent-kneed downward facing dog. This is where you're going to feel your hamstrings, so bend your knees, be gentle with those poor, dear, sweet, hard-working hamstrings. Push your hands forward. And then maybe begin to straighten your legs a little bit more. Squeeze your bottom as you do this. And if it's okay for you to push your heels down a little bit more, then do. Remember, this is all about recovery. Breathe into whatever areas in your body are saying to you, oh my gosh, this is sore. Give them your love. Your body has served you so well. Not just in the exercise that you did, but throughout your life. Now drop both of your heels to the left. Squeeze your thighs, drop your heels down. Try and show the soles of your feet to the back of the room as you push your right hand forward. So now you're stretching the right side of your body. Push the right hip back, maybe a touch more if it's okay. Pick up your heels, rearrange your feet, and bring your heels over to the right. Again, separate your toes, make your legs strong, and show the soles of your feet to the back of the room. My dear cat here, she looks so sweet with her tail draped over the beanbag there. Pick up your heels, and then walk your hands all the way back to your feet and bend your knees to help you do this. Now widen your feet right to the edges of your mat, and push all of your fingertips down, including your thumbs, and fold forward. Now, I want you to keep your knees bent here. Remember, we're just easing open the backs of the legs. We're not trying to do the best ever Uttanasana. So push your hands down, keep your abs engaged. Then from here, bend your knees even more. Bring your hands onto your hips and hinge up to standing slowly. Good. Now, bring your 2 feet together. I'm going to do some very accessible and straightforward standing poses to open up the hips. A bit of balancing here. So if you find that you're going to be a bit wobbly, then put your left hand on the wall or go to a wall, move your laptop so that you've got something to steady yourself on. The back of a chair works well as well. So bend both of your knees. Pick up your right leg. Turn it out to the side for a standing figure 4. So I'm kind of imagining I've got a wall here. Please do feel free to hold on to something. Bring your hands onto your hips. We're not looking to improve our balance here. We're looking to help the hip de-oil, de-rust. We're trying to kind of up the ante of the synovial fluid production that's going on in your hip. Now lift your chest and move your shoulders back as if you were doing cobra, and then possibly slowly hinge down that touch more. Separate your right toes. And then slowly come up. Place your right foot down. Now, if you were using a wall, then you want to try and turn around so that now your right hand is on the wall. Bend both of your knees. Pick up the left leg. Bring your shoulders up. Separate your left toes. And again, move your shoulders back and possibly tip down a touch more here. Breathe smoothly and calmly. On your next inhale, come out of standing figure 4. Place that left foot down. Then bend your right leg, reach around with your hand. So again, you can move so that you can get your left hand onto the wall for stability. You're grabbing here the front of the ankle. Point the toes. And then maybe now, you might be feeling this in your thighs, particularly if you were running and you're recovering from that, but maybe now you can bring that knee slightly back. Lift your heart, stand tall, lift up through the center of your head. Then take your hand away and let the foot come straight down. Place your feet together. Let's do the other side. Again, the wall, if you need it, with the right hand, pick up the left leg. Try and have this knee pointing straight down. And then after a few breaths, you might find that you've got a little bit more elasticity in the quadricep muscles and you can bring the knee slightly back, maybe. Lift your heart. Take your hand away, bring the foot down, and then come to the front of your mat, or the short edge of your mat if you're not already here. Separate your feet to hip width apart. Outwardly rotate your arms, lift your heart, and as you inhale, keep looking forwards and bring your arms up overhead. Don't bring your hands together, keep your arms apart. Then bend your knees, turn your palms to the side walls, and then reach your fingertips to the side walls, float them down, and bring your hands to either sides of your feet. Now again, keep your knees bent. You don't have to have straight legs here, but if you can lift your bottom up a bit more, then do. Now take a big step back with the left foot. Bring the back knee down. Slowly does it. And keep your back toes tucked under, so you're stretching the sole of the foot. Bring your hands one by one onto your right thigh and gently ease yourself up. Now, if you're losing your balance, bring your right foot a bit to the right. When you've got your balance, press your right foot gently towards the back foot and keep nudging the left hip point forwards. Now, interlace your hands behind the back of your head. Move your elbows back. Press your head into your hands and lift your heart. As you lift your heart, lift your chin and lift your gaze. This is it, no more than this. 3, if this is terrible for you and you're aching all over, just keep your hands on your knee. 2, 1, then look down, touch down, and then pick up your back knee, pause for a moment, don't be in a hurry to step forward, and then step forward. Separate your feet, pick up the right leg, but left knee is really bent here. Stretch it towards the back of the mat and then touch down, bring the back knee down. Again, hold your horses, stay here for a moment. All the back toes tucked under. You might even be able to pick the toes up, move them a bit closer towards the front of the mat and then bring them down so you get more of a stretch in the sole of the foot. Hands onto that front leg. Raise your chest. Move the right hip point forwards. Keep your hands here if you need to, or interlace your hands, the non-dominant clasp, and place them behind the back of your head, cradling your head, and then let the weight of your head drop into your hands as you bring your elbows back. Keep moving the right hip point forwards and lift up the lower belly towards your chest, the chest towards your chin. Lift your chin, lift your gaze. Slightly squeeze your bottom here. Then release your hands, slowly touch down. Pick up your back knee and again pause for a moment here with a straight back leg, round your back and step forwards. Good, then from here I want you to sit down. So bring your hands ahead of your feet, one knee down, other knee down. This is where you might need your blanket, so have it with you. It's kind of on the left hand side of your mat. And then from here, I want you to bring your right buttock down to the floor and then turn your legs into this sort of zigzag position. Now, when you see me do this and if you think to yourself, oh my God, she has no idea how tough that is for me, this is where your blanket helps you. So put the blanket underneath your 2 sitting bones if this is tough for you. And you can always have 2 blankets if you need to, because what I want is that your left sitting bone is on the floor as well as the right sitting bone. How's this? Okay, raise your arms and twist towards your right. Bring your right hand onto the floor behind you or onto your blankets behind you and bring the back of your left hand onto the outside of this thigh. If that's not doable, then just grab whatever you can with your palm, it's fine. And then turn. And again, turn with ease. This is for recovery. It's not for winning any medals. You've already put a lot of effort in. This is just for ease. Turn your head maybe a little bit more so your neck goes through the full range of motion. And then release your hands. Turn back to center. Now, bring your right hand down to the floor. Pick up the left foot. This is just to move to the other side with a bit more safety. And then take your time as you bring the right leg around and then the left foot follows. So you're making a zigzag shape here. Those of you that want to know that your leg here is in Virasana and this leg here is in a kind of tree pose, Vrikshasana shape. Okay, now raise your arms. Make sure that you're feeling settled, that your right sitting bone is on your mat or on your blanket. Twist to the left. Back of this hand comes down if possible. If not, then the palm. And then bring your hand onto the floor behind you. You can always put your hand on your block behind you if needs be. Again, try and come into an easeful twist. You're not forcing anything here. Make sure that your breath stays nice and fluid. And then maybe turn your head a touch more. So you're moving the left cheek a little bit more behind you. Even look out of the left corners of your eyes. Slightly squeeze your knees and push your feet down. Then pick up your hands. Turn back to center. And then again, coming out carefully, bring the left hand down, right foot to the floor, left foot to the floor, and straighten both of your legs. Now, from here, pick up the right leg, cross it over the left. We're going to do another twist. Reach the left arm forward, bring the crook of the elbow around the outside of the right leg. Gently ease the leg over. Bring your right hand onto the floor behind you, onto your block if needs be, and twist again. We're not going to hold this one so long, but do squeeze the straight leg a little bit stronger and press it down into the floor. Press that left heel down into the floor. And turn your chest back to center, unhook the arm, right leg straight, left knee bent, step it over, sit tall, float your arms, turn to the left. The crook of the elbow around. Your arm here is helping to lengthen the outside of your hip. And then turn. Again, the right leg, the straight leg, squeeze it strong. You're going to get a little bit of hugging the muscle onto the bone in that right leg. Soften your shoulders, soften your jaw. Float your arms, turn back to center, and then bring this leg out straight. Now, come forward off your blanket. Put the blanket on the floor. This is the last big hip stretch that we're going to do. Come into downward facing dog. Have your blanket nearby. Stretch back into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. And then bring your right knee behind your right wrist. Bring your back knee down. So we're coming into pigeon prep here. Now we're not going to stay in this pose. What I want you to do now is to bring your right hand out to the side and plop your right buttock down on the floor. Now you might need your blanket to do that. It might be that the floor feels really far away and you want to have the prop there. Fine, do that if you need to. Then, and I'm going to turn my back to you now, so listen really carefully, bend your left leg and reach around with your left hand, and if you can, grab the front of the ankle. Now, if you can't do that, then don't worry about it. Just bend the leg and keep the foot on the floor. But if you can, grab it with a hand, do. Maybe you can bring it in a little bit closer towards your left buttock. And then from here, bend the right elbow and turn your belly and chest gently up towards the ceiling. Those of you that might be a bit more flexible, you can possibly bring that left knee back a bit more. And then stay here for a couple more breaths. You might be able to see from the shape of your legs, we're kind of exaggerating now that zigzag seated position that you did earlier. Just bringing it on one more stage. So hopefully you get a little bit more release in your hips. If you've got the foot, let go of it. And then bring your left hand down to the floor. Start to level up your pelvis here. And then go back to downward facing dog. So pick up this right buttock, tuck the back toes under, and then pick up the entire right leg. Now, the left knee behind the left wrist. Make sure it makes contact. Bring the back knee down. Stay here just for a moment. You might be able to crawl that back leg back a little bit more. If you use the blanket for the right buttock, you'll probably need it for the left one. Get it? Bring the left buttock down. Stay with this, possibly bend that back leg a little bit, and you might be able to use your right hand to grab the front of the ankle and then gently draw it in. You might even find, if you've got enough flexibility, that you can bring your forearm down to the floor, but please don't feel like you've got to do that. I'm doing it just because I kind of got the wall in the way here. And then turn your belly and chest. And again, maybe bring that back knee back a bit more. And breathe into the sticky tacky places. 3, 2, 1. Now release that back leg. Downward facing dog. Pick up the left buttock. Tuck the back toes under. Step that left leg all the way back. And then from here, bend the right knee. Press the left heel towards the floor. Straighten the right leg. Bend the left leg. 2 more times. Pedaling your heels here. Getting a little bit more length into the calf muscles. And then end with both legs straight or straightish. You bend the knees if you need to. Bring your knees down to the floor. Child's pose. Sit onto your heels. Bring your forehead onto the blanket or the block if you need to. And rest your head. Then come into Shavasana. So just move forwards, lie down, make sure you're warm, cover your eyes if you need to, and rest. I always need to pull out my ponytail here. You do the same if you need to. Turn your palms up to the ceiling. Make sure your hands and your feet aren't touching anything so your nervous system can really relax. And do this. Let the energy now get the opportunity to dissipate evenly, spread throughout your body. Press your elbows down, bring your shoulder blades a little closer to each other if you haven't already. Just 1 minute here. Shavasana. Practice relaxation. Now stay here longer if you want to. Just reach over and press pause. If you're coming out, bend your knees 1 leg at a time and roll over onto your right side. Press down with your left hand, then your right hand. Come up to sit. Reach around for your blanket if you need to sit on that. Sit tall. Stretch your spine by lifting up through your soft palate. Then bring your hands into your heart. Lower your chin so it touches your fingertips. Then release your hands and bring your palms down to your legs. Lift your chin and open your eyes. Namaste. Well done. I hope that helped. I hope that you'll now walk around and feel that your body is more mobile, less tough. You can always have a nice warm bath. And I do recommend that if you can, you get a massage every month or so. It's something that I keep needing to remind myself to sort out. Find a good massage therapist and get that lactic acid out and get that feeling of warmth and love. That human touch is so lovely to have. You can always, if you're finding that a very expensive thing to do, find someone that maybe is training to be a massage therapist and needs someone to practice on. Okay, take care, and I thank you very much, patrons, by the way. I really appreciate all of your support, my dear friends. You've got a live class coming up very soon. I've scheduled that. It's all there in Patreon. Have a look. And everyone, take care, and I hope the rest of your day goes really well.